Hi guys, welcome to IntotheJuneIverse, where stars collide and I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm very surprised that I am the one introducing the podcast to you. My lovely friend decided that I'm trying something new. And today we will be talking about everybody messed up my intro.
So that, because you know how many takes you do for me to
Yeah.
Yeah, I think stars align, vibes collide. Very good. And something is, and everything is not. I don't know, Chad. Don't judge me. Like, I mean, you know this podcast is me, so yeah.
Stars align and vibes collide.
And nothing is ever that serious. But it never really is. But something today is very, very serious.
It is.
And we will start with saying Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day!
My daddy and your daddy.
Yeah.
And everybody's daddy. And those daddies also.
Yeah. What that is?
You know exactly the daddy.
Oh, I know. That's
Okay, just keep pretending like this if you don't know what I mean. Daddies that are. Anyways, moving on. And also, for the ones that are yet to be dads, you know, so all men really.
Yeah.
I think being a dad is a lot of work. I mean, being a mom, we're not talking about women today. Today it's all about the dads, it's all about dads, and we must commend the dads.
Yeah.
Are daddy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a small feat. It's not a small feat because of these daddies are chopping 1, 2, 3 bills. I mean, I speak for my daddy at least, and a couple of other daddies that I know. So they're taking all these, they're collecting these, they're paying bills, man.
You know, and just like the sacrifices that we have to make, all of them, like the money part of it, is like sacrificing, just whether it's emotions or whether it's like their time or whatever it is, just
Their strength.
Yeah.
Putting the best years into making us who we are.
and being present fathers. And also happy Father's Day to the people that have memories of their father. Whether the father was once here and is not with us anymore. I hope today you are able to bask and enjoy that with the relationship with your father.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think fathers are
Amazing.
yeah,
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Especially girl dads.
Yes.
I don't lie.
Yeah.
Two dads like girls like me.
Yes.
One of the sacrifices that they made is actually having to sit us. Yeah.
Oh my god, I mean that has 7 of us.
Oh my god.
7 little yappers. Excluding my mom. I know.
My dad has just me.
Oh yeah.
So, that is not that hard, I guess.
I'm sure he's like, wow, what's a lucky man I am.
I won't forget. Like, I think this was like sometime like a year ago. I don't remember. I think I came home from somewhere, and so I'm just having like 5 I'm sitting there and I'm just talking about it. I don't remember what. And I'm just going on and on and on and on. And then this man, I think I was asking him a question after question. And at some point, he's like, and he says in my like, he looked so resigned, just really disturbing.
Oh.
And I was like, you know, princess daddies.
Yeah.
Really princess daddies.
Yeah. You know, I see some videos of like little kids in the diaspora where their dad is like playing tea with them and they're making their dad up. I don't know that kind of like more like that place where like you want to carry the cup to like a person. What are you on?
Well, my dad's a boy dad. I have brothers. My only girl. So yeah, all of that happened. Yeah, the yapping.
Yes.
The making everybody things. Yes.
Mhm.
The giving him just my favorite thing to do that is to just he's like, sometimes I come back from work and he's like, oh, so what happened at the office today? I'm like, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I will so slap somebody.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to slap somebody. Obviously, no. Please, I need employment. I slap somebody. He's staying in employment to make us money. Stay in employment. Don't slap anybody. We don't like violence. So what are you guys getting for your dad?
Yeah,
because that's actually generally guys are very difficult to get, but what
do you guys give to that? And that's especially hard. Some of the most important people's things. Because what do you give?
Somebody that gives you everything.
Or what do you give them when you have everything?
Yeah.
Because I mean, not watch, not. So for me, I think what I kind of like to do is, to go out with them. Go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Do things that I enjoy, and I know that you kind of enjoy it also. And that's
Take him into your world.
And that's a sweet tooth. And that's a sweet tooth.
Really?
So,
I would not get that one.
Oh, he is a sweet tooth. A very good sweet tooth. So yeah, we can take him for ice cream. We can, you can take him to all these new places all you young people.
Yeah, this is what you're also.
And then you take him to like popsicle places and he's like, is this the new one that people are all crazy about? Yes. Or boba.
And you have a popsicle for that.
I don't have all of it for you. That's so cool. If he likes it, he will always disturb you about it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I don't know, my dad doesn't really like sweet things. He would have it if he had it. But he's more of he would have like shawarma or
like savory stuff.
Savory stuff, but not all like outright sweet stuff. If that makes sense. Like I couldn't imagine my dad having sweet. He'd be like, or candy. And he'd be like,
my dad used to have in his car, he used to have a chest.
Yeah.
Of all kinds of candy. So
the drives to school would be like, I'm losing you.
It was great. It was great. So I think also there should be more events. I don't know if there are events really, but I think there should be more events for for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Not everyday webinar, not everyday just social media posts. Sometimes actual have events where they bring their daddy to the events, like a picnic. Picnic, like little. Maybe I think I would organize a prom. If daddy goes to prom.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, people will buy tickets. You guys should buy tickets. I'm definitely supposed to organize. That's my idea. Nobody if I see anybody do this, we'll always reference. I promise you.
We'll see.
Daddy prom would be amazing.
That would be lovely. It's something like that, I think.
Yeah, so we can actually just renovate our homes. Keep them at home for a while.
Yeah.
Then,
so I have some questions to ask you.
Please go ahead.
Since today's Father's Day, I was wondering what lessons have you learned from your father?
A lot.
Can you give us 2 top lessons that really resonated with you?
I don't know, I think you need to answer that. I actually have to think because there's a lot. So I actually want to pick out the 2 most important ones to me. First things first, one thing about me as a person, and this I feel like what my dad is, yes, he lets you be emotional, especially when you're a girl, and he's like, yes, be emotional as much as you want, but make sure that, make sure that whatever decision you make for yourself in your life, no matter how small it is, do not look at the emotional, also always look at the practicality, and where does it take you. And also, another thing that there's a saying my dad always says. Sometimes how we get, sometimes we get very petty. One thing my dad is always told me, he would say to my language, I'm not going to repeat it, but it just means just because sometimes you let certain things go. Because I personally, growing up, had this issue of kind of holding on to things so closely. A lot of times it's just because you let things go does not mean that person might get. That person is not one of you. So those 2 things are very important for me. And it helps me be at peace because a lot of times he tells you, so a lot of times when I want to be going about it, again, sometimes he said to me once, he said, is this going to last 2 years from now? So just think about it, you don't have to be an answer, I'm doing this after 2 years from now. And I said to him, no, it's not going to, so why does it matter to me?
Yeah. My dad said something in these lines where he's a bit non-dramatic with me. He's like, imagine that I'm carrying a man in school and it hurts so much. She feels uneasy in her body, her body's not having it. And imagine you a tiny little girl when I was younger and he used to get to me.
carrying a whole grown adult in your heart and just not feel heavy. So like, yeah, he basically was saying that to say like, let it go, not for the person, but for yourself. Because you're the one that carries it and it brings on you.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
My next question is, what's your favorite memory you should have?
So one time he surprised me when I was in school. So,
First year, second year, third year. Second year, I don't know.
So he hadn't been to the country. Like, so the first time I went with my mom, I settled and everything, because obviously he was going to come.
Yeah.
So, but I never really walked him. So we talked about it in the phone. So one day, I'm laying on my room, and so there's this guy from the embassy. So this guy from the embassy. So he calls me, he's like, hey, he's just like, on me, because he kind of checks up on my gender and my student. So he's like, oh, just like, how you doing? Because it's the weekends from Friday. So he's like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, oh, no, nothing, no, I'm not doing anything. He's like, okay, I'm just checking. I was like, fine. Everything. We haven't spoken about that at all. So, not quite an hour later, he called me. He's like, oh, I'm leaving because then I was in Rome. So it was like 10 minutes. So it's like, I'm at your Rome. Why don't you come down and see me? So normally, like, we don't have that relationship. I kind of really like the guy very much. I didn't listen to it. I didn't just have a relationship with him. So, he was like, oh, come on, let me see. I haven't seen you in a while. Let me see how you're doing good and everything. Well, you need to come down, and in the car, and the front seat, I see my dad, and I screamed.
That's so cool. My dad's kid to be there.
And so he did tell me he was coming, or see if he was surprised.
Yeah.
Like the way I came from him. So it's a gold storm, so he didn't go in. And after that, I was just like crying, just talking.
Yeah.
After a while, it's like, we'll get this stuff.
Yeah.
And then, we'll go back to the hotel.
So yeah, that was my favorite. And then for like,
He only was around, and he didn't also tell me when he was leaving, because he was only around for like, he did 3 nights. So I think he was in the 4th day. And so it's like, on the 3rd day, it was like, oh, I'm leaving. So, we went to the mall, we bought everything that we wanted, actually, the 4th place that I like that. And, that was the one time he came. The other time he came, I was graduating.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I think that is one of my favorites.
Okay. I guess my next question is, I honestly love the story that you told, and I'm particularly heard of things without coming to that when we saw them in the car. But do you think that the presence of the father in a child's life can shape a gentleman in the way he is with his spouse and the lady with the way she is with her spouse? And do you also believe that a father can be in the room of the parents?
So yes, a lot of times. So I think that kind of starts from. So you know how they say, like your parents are your first, not your first love, but your first idea of how. They're your first example. They're the people you see for the first, because you're living with them. Everything we learn literally, because as kids we don't learn what they tell us. Children learn from what they see. So yes, man being present in the house, or rather, a child growing up, a person growing up to treat people a certain way. A lot of it has a lot to do with parents. A lot. So, especially like in case of relationships, or I'm talking romantic and also platonic and work relationship. Like the person that your father is usually would show, except if your father is spouse. I mean, yeah, there are cases where people come out differently from what their parents are. Sometimes you find a man who's a gentleman when you have a child, a son who's a rogue, or a daughter that's something else. These are like other cases, but I think in most cases, when a man is a gentleman, he raises his child in the way that he is, in his image, so to speak. And so that's why I think that how like a father being there, so the father doesn't also always have to be married to the mom, but as long as they're present. So just because they're not married to the mom does not mean that they're not present.
Yeah,
I mean it's preferable. It's preferable 100 times. But in cases where, life is not, it's not always perfect. So in cases where the parents are not together, the father has to start to be present and be fully involved in the child's upbringing, and because that would really shape your perspective on life and relationships. Because your parents are the first relationships that you experience with your siblings. And also there are a lot of cases where on TikTok or generally social media, there are a lot of times where mothers will tell their kids like, I would say to that person. And there's a lot of kids that you would say to you, I wish you guys were not in together because I would have had a less dysfunctional life. So yes, it's very possible for a father to still be in the house, be married to the mother, but just be non-existent in the child. Like, you don't care. You don't know what's going on in the child's life, you've never been to school, and we've seen a lot of cases where you ask a child, a father, how old is your child, if you don't know, when is the birthday, you don't know, all these little things. So yeah, it's very possible, very, very possible to have a father in the house, which is all that. So like it's a lot of effort, a lot of emotional, mental effort to actually be a father. Anybody can have a big child. But to actually raise a child is the most important thing. The way that they should grow.
Yeah, I love your response, honestly. I feel like there's nothing that beats the presence of the father in the child's life. And you really pointed on the fact that that's the first relationship that we see as example and they learn by what we see by what they're told. But you mentioned something about mental, and I wanted to ask at least in my family, I know very much how my mental health is. My dad is very hush-hush about how he feels. Once in a while he'll be like, he wants to talk about his feelings, but one thing and it's going to be like a sentence, not an expression. Do you think that fathers and mental health, do you think it correlates, or do you think it's something that they had to, one of the sacrifices they had to make, their mental health, to be able to be fathers in the house? And do you think it's a possibility that they can bring in their mental health and father in that would still be functional? So I guess my question is, do you think mental health is a sacrifice that fathers have to make to be able to leave the house? And do you think it is brought back inside, fathers, and then talking about their mental health? Do you think it's something that could create a functional family, or do you think it would be dysfunctional?
No, I think more. So I think that stems from men being because of society, men have to be more in tune with their mental health. Because a man who's more mentally stable and who's more secure and will raise a better family, will raise better children. So I don't think that mental health and father you need to sacrifice. You need the mental health to even be a proper father. So it's not. I don't think that it's one of the other. It's two things. It's very important to have that mental health, to know that you're stable, to know that you have that healthy, because that's what you need for a healthy, secure. Because a lot of times we have fathers that say, a lot of times people say, my father, I think, my father came home and all that. We were all talking. Yeah. It doesn't speak great, to be honest. Because that's all great. Because now I'm just transferring a lot of mental health issues to the kid. Because now there's no secure. Yeah, exactly. So your children have to see that their dad is able to be vulnerable. Their dad is able to their dad is also a person who experiences all the emotions, and there's nothing wrong with certain emotions, negative emotions. They're there, they exist. It's how you manage them. It's how you conduct yourself while you're going through this. So your children need to see that. So it's very important for the man to have his own mental health in check.
Yeah. I love that they said that it's the way you also handle yourself, also expressing those emotions, because like you said earlier, kids are watching you, and it's how you act that they kind of they absorb. But do you think there's a time where it's too much, where like the mental, like where
What do
it's
you
like too much expressing of like your feelings, or too much expression and expressing of your or talking about it. Do you think there's a time where it's too much? Because I personally feel like even as a friend, and I am all for like you going through something and wanting to talk about it. But I feel like, just like you mentioned earlier, there's an upbringing that I have where you can go through something, but it almost feels like there's a ticking time where like you talk about it till now and I don't care about it anymore. And so innate in me is if I keep hearing a story or a story over and over and over and over again, it starts to feel like draining. Yes. Yeah. It starts to, I start to feel draining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that I don't sympathize with you anymore. It's just that I have something else to say. I don't know how else to console you. So do you think there's a point as a father where, yes, mental health is, from what you said, is something that they need to express, they need to show vulnerability and all of that, but do you think there's going to be points where we probably cross the line and it's not like a bit of a sub story and you now become one of the
You're just whining.
yeah, a whiner.
Okay, so is this like the kids being the whiners or the dad?
The dad being the whiner.
So I don't even see. I don't know how that would happen because when I say that a man should be vulnerable enough with his children, but I don't think that he should dump on them.
Yeah.
They should see, like they should be able to see that that's sad and annoyed, or he feels the emotions, right?
Yeah.
But only to see it, and then he doesn't have to. Like, they're not his. Your children are not your therapist.
Yeah.
Deal with that with your wife or your therapist, or deal with it by yourself. Because these are children, these are, young adults.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, you're not trauma because they too have not even figured out their own emotions, so why are you talking on it? Let them see that, yes, it's possible. You too go through things and you're able to be there for them, but, like, don't extend it. I think they need to reach a certain age, like, at least they should be adults before they can, before they can actually grasp the ball, they can actually sit. Because you find out when, as the older we get, that's when our parents are, like, have more, like, certain kinds of conversations that they would have had with us, like, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, I think it's I don't want to use the word abusive, but I think it's not ideal. Because now you're abusing your child, because when you're pouring out that much to your child, I think you're starting to use them as an emotional crutch, which you should not, because you're putting too much on them.
Yeah.
That's not their job.
That's a good answer.
It's just for them to see that you're feeling issue and you actually go through things.
Yeah. But not like going to overpower them.
Yes, and also for them to see that you're able to, it kind of promotes when you're able to deal, like, you're able to confront your own emotions and actually deal with your issues and get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And, not get over it, but, like, find a stable ground. And, just work through it. It helps, the children are able to see that. They too sometimes, they're allowed to have emotional turmoil or mental turmoil or whatever, but they should learn to not be dependent or be crutches on anybody. They should actually be able to confront it head on and actually sort it out by themselves.
Yeah, and keep themselves back. Yeah. That's really
Because the truth is, I think, they need to know, as a father, one of the most important things that a father would show you is they are there for you. But the truth is, a lot of times, we've spoken about fathers that are not there. About the fathers that passed away or are very ill and coma or whatever. Yeah, so outside that, really, nobody's coming to save you.
Yeah.
So your children will understand that I'm your father, I'm here as much as I can be, but also you need to understand that there's a dimension in life where nobody's coming to save you. So, like,
that's true.
Yeah, nobody's going to save you. You're going to have to do this. Of course, people too have their own things that they're dealing with. Your problems are not everybody's problems. They're simply yours.
Yeah.
Yours to carry. Yeah. But I think, for me, I think we need to make it a point, that in as much as a father, because this is for me a very important point, and that's for as much as a father, it instills discipline. Yeah. A lot of times let's talk about our reality, a lot of Well, the new age dads that I'm seeing, they're trying so hard. They're doing well. Even our fathers, they did well because their first family dads too, right? Times, they've never done, you don't get two chances of being a parent. Maybe in some cases, but usually. Yeah. So you're being a parent for the first time. Parenting, to be honest, is one of the most difficult jobs in the world, if not the most difficult. Yeah. So people need to understand, maybe for older school parents and people who kind of grew up with that and think that that's the way to go because maybe they feel like I turned out okay. Discipline should happen, but that should not be the only interaction that you have with your child. Yeah. Yes, I'm being present. Because a lot of people say, I'm being present because I was correcting the child. The only presence that you have in your child, and the way that from your child's, in their mind's eye, they would see this person is only ever here when it's time for discipline. It's only when Amos wants to report, or when school wants to report, and then they have to see and it's yelling and see God blazing. So, and then the parents go over and say, look at the Ashake issue. The Ashake has a different. It seems that Ashake had a different opinion of that. In his mind's eye, he didn't maybe think that would be pretty sad. Yeah. But in his dad's mind's eye, he feels like he did everything for Ashake and Ashake is ungrateful. So there needs to be that balance somewhere. So yes, being present in your child's life, just because you want them to be upright. Everyone wants their kid to be upright, but it doesn't mean that you're there at sea full-on discipline. But you must know that. For you must have. Your child must know where I'm your dad, and so I'm a figure of authority, but I'm also your friend. I should be the first person that you come to. So I think that's a very important point to note.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would like us to I wanted to end the episode by having one of us call our dads to shout out to I already did before we started recording. So that was even But we could just give a shout out to our fathers if they ever get to watch this. Do you want to go first? I can go first and then go first.
You're doing for both of us.
Okay.
Shout out. We love you guys.
Thank you so much, Daddy. I have so much respect for you, your grit, your tenacity, the level of discipline that you have, the level of understanding. You're just, I'm so overwhelmed by the love that you give to us. You are the powerhouse. You are the healer. You're just amazing. And to deal with 7 girls, you're doing very well. And for your life, so you're doing really well. I honestly have so much respect for you. I have so much love for you. I appreciate you for the man that you are, for the example that you've shown us. And shout out to you, Daddy. Shout out to
everybody's
daddy. Everybody's daddy. Shout out to
you. We love you. I don't have a lot to say, but I just want to say that we love you and we appreciate you. We see everything that you do, even when it seems like we don't.
Yes.
And sometimes you're stopping us.
Yes. Sorry.
We still love you. We still love you, and we wouldn't have to do it other way.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of our Father's Day episode. And make sure you guys buy gifts for your daddy and your baby daddies and your husbands and your brothers, and they're all going to be daddies. So make sure that you celebrate them today.
Okay.
Bye. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.